So if someone gave you 10 grand
Yeah.
and you had to spend the $10,000 on shit that absolutely meant nothing to you, like nothing of actual important use, you had 24 hours to do it, what are you spending it on?
Fuck. Okay, and I can spend it on whatever the.
Whatever you want, but it just can't be useful stuff that you're going to use in your normal life.
Could it be like really cliche and say like give it to a charity?
That's so shit.
No, because because like I don't.
Okay. So I'm
It's-
10 grand,
it's-
10 grand worth of fireworks and that fucking go ballistic.
Okay. What would I spend it on? Pointless shit. And that I can't make profit off in the future.
Yep. So you can't, it cannot be helpful to you at all. It just has to be something that's just straight off the bat useless, but it's for a good time.
Okay. Shitload of drugs.
That works. What's the drug of choice?
No, actually, can we cut that? Someone will see this. I'll send you a video. She's fucking joking. I'm not.
What is the-
Get some mushies in a fucking tent. Let's go.
What is
Come on, man, make tenfold.
No.
what is the drug of choice then?
No, like we can't go in this kind of way. Absolutely not.
They are unrolling.
Thank God for that, because I do not need my mother seeing that. Jesus Christ.
We'll just beep it out.
It's actually a really hard question.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Fireworks were literally the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah, I thought katana. Like I'm just buying like a legit katana from Japan.
As in that Japanese board game.
No, the sword.
Oh, right. Okay. See,
How
literally.
would you bring it into the country?
Well, that's not part of the question.
Well, I'm thinking logical. You guys are just thinking fucking whatever. I will buy Mars. That's what I'm buying.
All right. Another one to went up. To wet the whistle then. Since this has worked so well so far.
I'm just a logical person. Like, maybe I need to be less logical.
Let's be wary of the microphone.
Oh, yeah, no, I just realised that then. All good.
What's the biggest ick that you have ever seen through just because you've thought that someone's good looking?
This is gonna seem like really how do I say this? This is gonna seem like very an interesting thing, but I also think like it is a bit icky, but like it's not really that icky.
Okay.
And the thought of like if someone ran for a tram, and I saw him like run for a tram once.
Someone running for a tram.
Yeah, and I
He was
was
a good looking guy. He was running for a tram. You're like, nah, it's.
hard to I was like, you know what? Like, also like, I find it a bit icky. Like in your little work suit, your trainers on, like running for a little tram. I'm like, oh no, I can't.
That's pretty good. It is.
You know, when someone chases like the ping pong ball with ping pong.
You know, just let it bounce out. Just
I'm like, look, mate, you're missing the tram. You're probably not going to catch it. Just honestly, just be 10 minutes late and just pull some bullshit, all right? It's really not that hard.
So the amount of times that I've been running in the city,
You've been running for trams?
running for it, not trams but trains. Trains to Geelong are like
That would
45
explain why you're
minutes apart.
single.
Correct. It's all the Q&A that I apparently do, and
Yeah, I'm wearing those football shirts when you work out. Like, what are you doing? You're not a football game, love. Like,
oh, we are on fire already. That's very good. Last one then.
okay.
If you have a crush on somebody, what's your go-to to instigate it?
It's really niche, but it's worked with like celebrities in the past. And I'd say, how many pictures do I have to like before you get the hint? And I wouldn't and then they'd be like, oh, you can like one more, and then I'd be like it and like, have you got the hint now? And then the conversation would open up and you could just flirt a little bit.
Right.
And this is assuming that it's on Instagram because nothing in the real world happens anymore, right?
That's fair. That's fair.
And people don't meet people organically and all that kind of stuff, right? It's very much
Give or take. I mean,
internet driven.
you go to the gym a fair bit though.
Yeah.
Gym's not a social place.
I mean, my gym is,
Yeah.
granted, but it's a great gym and I love the gym that I go to, but it does have a lot of people there that have just come to work out, get in, get out kind of thing. But then there is also the people that do socialize and do talk and things like that, which is really nice. But I'd also say, like, it's kind of hard to work out who's got a girlfriend and who hasn't, and you don't want to step on toes and make it really awkward. I'd rather, instead of having, like, I'd rather not bother at all than the fear of rejection.
What if a guy hits on you though? What if a guy comes up to you and starts talking to you? Is that
What,
completely
whilst I'm
different?
doing what?
Is there a
Adios?
perfect is there a perfect time to speak to a girl at the gym? Because typically, I would
Between
say,
us that.
between a set,
What, and be like,
when
hey,
a girl's leaving the gym,
what, be like, hey, I've just seen how you've worked out. Can I have your number? You work out really well. Like,
Oh, you
could
can't
train
do it
me
like
some-"
that,
yeah,
though.
exactly. Like,
you can't do it like that though. I think like a good one is like if someone's between sets, it's like how long you've been doing them for. Like form's pretty good. Like actually taking a genuine interest in what someone's doing, not asking for someone's number. If you go up to somebody at the gym, the first time that you talk to them, you're not asking them for their number.
I think if you're a guy like looking to hit on a girl at the gym, my advice would be like oh, do you need help spotting? Like, do you want me to spot you?
Good. Yeah.
Because no, like
No.
no, because if you do it like between sets, like, oh, I can see, because then looks like you've been checking them out for ages, and it becomes a little bit
Yeah. Okay.
weird.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, do you want to go heavier and I can spot you? You look like you look like you enjoy the gym quite a bit, and like opening with that,
Yeah. Okay.
as opposed to being like, oh, like your phone looks really good. What are you been watching me for the past hour? Like, come on, guys, you know,
That's fair. That's actually a pretty good opener.
try it and see if it works.
Yeah, you're gonna go to the weights gym. I've stopped going to the weights gym actually.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen you boxing with that football shirt on.
One fucking time. I mean,
Well, you wouldn't have guessed you're a Man United fan?
are you a Leeds fan?
Depends. Well, they've just been promoted, so yeah, I am now.
You are, yeah. Otherwise, it's who?
I don't really side on a football team. I don't watch it enough.
Who's
but,
the family follow?
well, my mum and dad are separated, so my mum supports Liverpool, right? My dad supports Manchester United.
He's a good man.
My brother supports Leeds United.
Okay. Fair. So you're a little bit torn between everything. Do you get
Yeah.
along with your dad pretty well?
Yeah. I used to, well, I don't really see him, obviously. I live at the other side of the world. But yeah, we are pretty close. Like, we talk quite a bit on the phone and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd probably say that I'm closer to my mum just because I lived with my mum the majority of my life. But that doesn't make me not close with my dad. If that makes sense.
You just live with your mum.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I still speak to my dad like really regularly. And yeah, we have a good relationship.
I want to rewind back just a little bit
There we go.
because you said something, and I want to know more. You said before that you have tried out certain lines with celebrities.
Yeah.
Can you say who? They're going to be mostly UK based.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what are you going to give us a TV show? Or are you going to give us?
Absolutely not. I have done it with like a few people which it's worked with. And it was actually really funny that do you know Sam Thompson? The guy who does the podcast with Pete Wicks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like quite young at the time, but I
Okay.
so it's a fair few years ago now. But
That's quite old.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I tried it on Pete originally. And then I tried it on Sam because Pete took too long to reply. And then Pete replied. And I was like, oh, this is awkward because I knew they were friends.
Basically, end for the podcast, and it's just like.
And I was like, okay, Dad, let's just leave that one there. Pretend that never happened.
Yeah. fair.
I just did it. It's like a fair few people just to see like if I'd get any traction from it.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It works. So if anyone wants the opportunity to slide in the celebrities DM, try it out and see if it works.
Can you detail it as exactly what it is again?
Let me find. I can find you it if you really want.
Okay.
This was December 2023.
That's
Okay.
actually not that long ago.
And I was like, how many photos do I have to like for you to get the hint? He put, haha, promise I haven't seen the likes. I put how many is needed for you to get the hint. I put what hint is it that I'm supposed to be getting. I put I'm sure you can work it out. I have faith in you. And then the conversation opens up,
Right.
and that's kind of where it goes.
Is that a conversation that, especially with a celebrity, that you have to lead the conversation? Are they very like short answers like that are following that, or
I think like it gives like very much confidence.
yeah,
So when I've led with that in the past, it's always got traction, and then like, oh, like where are you from? Like what do you do for work? And it kind of opens it up. And yeah, it becomes quite an interesting conversation. And it's just not primarily based on flirting. Like people actually do want to like have a conversation and see where it could go, I guess. People are intrigued by it. But yeah, there you go. That's a little fact of the day.
you and your friends,
Yeah.
do you find that girls are messaging guys just as much as what you get messaged?
Do I find that my friends are messaging guys as much as I get messaged?
Well, just in general, like if you speak with your girlfriends,
Yeah.
you're instigating here, like you're having conversations with guys, albeit they are celebrities, like you're doing
Yeah.
it for a bit of fun to
Which
sort of say that,
Funny enough, yeah.
which is funny enough. But do you find that you and your friends actually message guys to try and chase just as much as you get chased?
Do you know one thing that I would say is that in Australia, men expect women to come up to them and start like conversations, from what I've found. Whereas in the UK, it's very much like a man will come up to you, like they like to do it as like a confidence, like no fucks given kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like guaranteed, it's very much a different environment over here. And that's the one thing that I struggled the most with when I moved to Australia. I was like, why's no one chatting to me? Like, I was like, I'm not full of myself, but like, I'm an alright looking girl, you know? And yeah, I realised very quickly they were like, oh yeah, men don't make effort here.
Do you reckon that's true, Benny?
I would have thought the opposite. I feel I've always had to approach. I've never expected to have anyone approach me.
Very, very rarely. I think from a guy that has to approach, like I don't get too many girls that would ever really come up to me. But that's not saying I'm full of myself or anything. But being a guy that has to go up and instigate a conversation, it has to be the easier the situation is to instigate. For example, you're at the bar and you're in line for a drink.
Well, yeah,
That's easy. But like if the worst thing that a male is put in a situation of is going up to a group of girls that are sitting at a table. It's so
no, but
hard.
I love that because that gives big dick energy.
It is big dick energy, but like you've got to be able to hold a conversation with 3 to 4 women all at
Well, not
once.
necessarily.
You would think that, but as a male that goes up, you would have you have the girl that you want to be able to talk to, and then you've got one gatekeeper, and then 2 that don't really give a fuck and that are happy to have fun. Generally, if there's 4.
Interesting, okay.
Generally, if there's 4. If you get a really clean run at it, there's 4 girls that are like out to have fun for the night. They're probably 6 or 7 drinks down, and they're like, "What's this fun that's sort of come over?" Which is rare. But mostly, it is pretty hard to outside situational, like where you almost bumping into somebody, say at a nightclub sort of thing.
Right, okay.
You
I can add to that.
okay?
but,
Go, please.
I don't think necessarily. Like at the end of the day, like if you're particularly interested in somebody, you shouldn't have to chat to all their friends. Like you shouldn't. I'm no like celebrity. I don't need a gatekeeper. I don't need like you to make effort with my friends. Like we're not in a different world, I guess now. Like if you want to chat to me, just chat to me. Like I'm pretty easygoing. Like, but I don't know if that's just me personally.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like if someone comes up to you and like they're at a group table and they could just go, hey, you know, I'd like to fucking buy you a drink. Do you want to come to the bar with me? It's not that hard to say that.
You would actually, like, obviously you've got to find the guy pretty attractive to be able to, yeah, I'll come with it.
I mean, it's free drinks, right?
We're getting to the root of the problem pretty quickly.
That's a joke, okay? No. You do have to, there has to be a degree of, that you're intrigued by somebody, I guess. But also, like, you can't judge a book by its cover. So you actually might have a conversation with that person and be like, actually, you know what, I'm interested in you.
You're being kind here. If you're not attracted to somebody, are you still going to go for a drink?
Yeah.
Because it's free drinks?
No, because they could be a genuinely nice person. What happens if you got run over tomorrow and you didn't look the way that you look? Am I still going to be in love with that person? If the answer's no, well, then it's all materialistic.
That's fair.
Like,
Yeah, that's fair. You still have to be attracted to someone.
yeah, but if they're getting run over, I'm not going to be attracted to them, are I? You can laugh me into bed.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's not you saying you can actually laugh me into bed, just for clarification.
I don't reckon I made you laugh. I've barely made you laugh about the 6 months
I know,
that
I
I've known
laugh
you.
at myself more than you.
No. I've caught onto that one pretty quickly.
Fair origin. Am I? Who knows? Just like to make you feel awkward, and now you really do. I can tell that.
You reckon I feel awkward?
Yeah, you've gone really red.
No, I haven't. He's the one that's gone red. She's such a shit stirrer.
Ginger.
We don't have a choice in it.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Go on.
What's the best pickup line that a guy sort of come over to you with? From memory. Most girls have the one that sticks out in their mind.
I don't have chat outlines as such. I do have really bad days we can talk about, which is a lot more interesting. I don't know, like, people give you cliche pickup lines and hope that it's going to achieve something, but I actually don't go off somebody's first line. It'll probably just be nervous, you know? I'm a pretty confident person, so I get why they've been nervous, but yeah.
Do you think that you present like confident energy when you're sitting at a bar?
It depends what environment I'm in, I
Okay.
guess. So I went to an event on the weekend. It was full of like very like Instagrammable girlies, let's say. And I was like, I feel out of place there. And there's a few people that looked at me and I was like, I cannot, like, I need to leave. Like,
Bar in
this
Melbourne,
is-
where was it?
It's a new bar that's recently opening, I think. It's 123 Queen Street, to be exact. Don't ask me why I know the address, but not the name of the venue.
Because you had to get an Uber to and from there, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That left more of a lasting impression, clearly, than
Yeah.
the name of the place. But no, like, it was a good event, and I'm sure, like, they'll do really well, but, like, it just wasn't my vibe. I like to be in a pub, have a pint of beer, have a glass of wine.
That's very UK of you, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very okay for me.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I've been in the club scene. I used to work as a shot girl. I've done all that kind of stuff.
Shot girl where?
Few events, was it?
No. It was, I can tell you the name of the event.
Doing his job as a
No,
Google man behind the
it's
scenes.
doing his research. Let me have a look.
123 Queen Street.
Yeah. It was a launch party for Club Montage.
Club Montage.
But it did say VIP, so I should have probably taken the hint. But nevertheless, like, it was really nice to go. It was a really good event, but just wasn't a bit for me. It was very, like, I get why they were doing it. They were doing it to get, like, the promo and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which is completely fair. But, like, I kind of don't love those environments because I've done those environments before.
Yeah.
And now I just actually want to meet genuine people that are there for a good time.
So what's the feeling being around the? From what you said before, you were like, I felt uncomfortable being around the Instagrammers
Yeah.
sort of thing. You're not ugly, so Wes,
That's reassuring to know. I'll tell my mum when I get home.
can't wait for her to listen to you. What is the feeling that you have as, especially as a confident person, and like you are a good-looking person? What is the feeling that you get on the back end of that, where you feel like you're not the prettiest person in the room, and obviously that's stripped you of a fair bit of confidence?
It's not that I don't feel like I'm the prettiest girl in the room. Like, you have to be a little bit self-confident to be able just to wing your way through life, I guess, to a degree. But, like, I just felt a bit awkward. Like, people weren't really bothered about taking pictures. They weren't bothered about actually having a conversation with people. And, like, you could tell people cared what they look like far too much. Like, just let your hair down. Like,
Yeah.
have a good time. Like, in 10 years, people are not going to remember you for that girl who had really good hair and looked really pretty. Like, you know? Like, legit.
I've been to a couple of places in Melbourne, and they've had an event nights and whatnot, and like you just sort of look around and you're like, people are pretty, but you just know that it takes a certain person in a crowd to be able to pick out and have a conversation with them.
And I also think, like, do guys actually just want someone that's just pretty and that's all they bring to the table? Like, I wouldn't ever want to be with a man that's just good looking and that's all that you've got for me. Like, I need something to bounce off. I need a sense of humour. I need a bit of banter. Like, I need more than that. I need a bit of emotional intelligence. So if anyone's like that, no. No, but like to a degree, like
Yeah.
I think all of that is very much surface level, whereas I want to know like what makes you tick and like actually have an interesting conversation with somebody.
Yeah. You say this, and I'm going to link it back into what we said before. You still have to be attracted to somebody at some capacity. I said recently to somebody, I said, I'm pretty shallow. Like, I have to be attracted to somebody for me to be able to date them.
Okay.
Like, I can't date somebody that I'm not attracted to. Yes, you can find a personality attractive once you get to know somebody.
Yeah.
I think, but at the base level, for me anyway, I still need to find somebody that I find physical attraction to still hold me there. And then it's the perfect thing. What I'll say is that, and I've had this conversation with friends, you would rather date a 7 with a really good personality than a 9 with like, it's just dead up here.
Well, yeah, that goes back to my point, I guess, as well. Like,
But they're not being run over. And
no, but like
hard to look at.
but I also did say like I could never really date somebody that was just primarily based on what they look like. But that's not to say like I'd date a 2,
yeah.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
Being realistic.
Yes.
But also I've previously dated people and people are like, oh, why are you with them?
That's fucking rude though.
Yeah, I know
It's
it.
so rude.
Yeah, I know it is, but people like your friends give no fucks. And I think it's just because they're coming from a place of like they know what you bring to the table, but they don't know what that person brings to the table, I guess. So they're like, oh, like no disrespect, like obviously, you know, I'm sure they're a really nice person, but like why are you with that person? And I'm like, because you don't actually know anything about that person. And what I know about that person, I actually really like in that person. So it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. If I like that person, I like that person.
If someone is that 6 coming up to you in the bar, they're less likely to get a good run at you in a setting than someone that's really good looking though.
Yeah, granted.
So whereas someone that is less good looking, more likely to pick up. Are we talking those lifestyle places where people go to do what they love and then you can get to know somebody on a better level? Something that's been more prevalent lately, and I know that you've been not actually, I can't remember whether you have done one or not. Right? Have you done a run club lately?
Not recently, but I do run. Am I a part of run club? Yes. Should I be there right now? Yes. Am I not? Have I not been for the past however many weeks? Yes. So do I go to a run club? The answer currently is probably not.
Probably not. With the run clubs, I've never been to one.
Yeah.
Are people hanging around afterwards to have a conversation?
Yeah, we go for pizza and pints.
Straight after.
Straight after.
So it's like that is a sort of perfect
No,
place
but
to be able to
like-
talk to somebody.
But it's not.
Why not?
Because people of my run club is not my people. Like, they're very much good friends of mine, but they're not the person that I'm going to settle down and have kids with. Like, but also I'm not looking for that. I'm not saying that it needs to be that person, but like, it's also not somebody that I probably would go on a date with. Being real.
Why?
Also, like, when you're running and you're like out of breath and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna have this conversation, like,
I don't reckon you have a conversation with somebody like mid-run. It's like afterwards.
no, but you also need to have a conversation with someone mid-run and then be like, oh, you're going to go to the pub after? And they're like, oh, yeah, well, no, perfect. We'll catch up there. You know? But, like, you can't do that if you've not spoken to the entire time and then just out of the blue go, hey, off to the pub.
Can you not do it afterwards, though, when everybody's sort of finished the run, they're sort of standing around, people are like, okay, I'm going to go home,
No, 'cause I
or
think
like, what are we doing
everyone's
next?
got their own little groups in the run
Okay.
group, right?
Yeah,
So as much as it is, like, a community, everyone has got their...
yeah,
It's very segregated.
okay,
Okay?
right.
So, like, I'm a bit of like a lost puppy amongst all them, right? Because I come like once every 4 weeks, and then I'm like,
You just
okay,
need to catch up and...
and I'm like, okay, like which people do I stand that are going to tolerate me, knowing that I've not been here for 4 weeks and like speak to me, and you know, but I'm very much like, I don't know, when I see someone in a run club, I might see someone new and be like, oh, they're attractive. Interesting. And then I go out to the girls and I'm like, is that guy? They're like, oh, like he's not a regular. I'm like, okay, that's fine. He knows that I don't need. He doesn't need to know that I don't come regularly. But yeah, I don't know. It's tricky because there is a lot of people that come to run club just for the runs and not the social aspect of things, I guess.
How do you pick up on that as a female? Are you just waiting for someone to talk to you?
Yeah, probably. When it comes to run clubs, like, just feels a bit awkward. I wouldn't ever say like a run club's a pickup spot. I mean, the Strava DMs, maybe, but Strava's got DMs now.
Yeah. I was made to get Strava in like a flirty exchange with someone over quite a period. And like I was posting a few runs that I'd done and they were like, why haven't you got Strava yet?
But also like if they're seeing your runs, because you're probably sharing them to Instagram, right? Yeah.
Correct.
If they're seeing your runs, why do they need to use, oh, have you not got Strava yet?
Well, I'm not posting every run.
Yeah, but they could just reply to it and be like, fucking hell, you're a bit of a slow coach. Do you want to go for a run and we'll see if I can beat you?
It was quite the opposite. Apparently, I was too quick to go for the run. If she ever sees it, she's got to know exactly who I am, who I'm talking about.
That's hilarious.
But, yeah. So,
well, maybe she needs to get some practice in.
no, she's actually pretty quick.
Oh, why did you go for a run? Did you go for a run with her?
No, she was more or less making excuses why not to. It was just a flirty exchange over a period of time that I was just like, I'd actually...
Was she a 7 out of 10 with a 10 out of 10 personality, or...?
When I met her, I actually found her really attractive and she had a really good personality. And then I sort of hit her up for a date, like not long after, and she was just like, made some sort of shitty excuse.
Okay.
And I was just like, all right, I won't bother. And then I don't know what happened. We sort of just ended up talking sporadically, and then like Snapchat, and then
Snapchat.
yeah.
What is she, 20?
2012?
Yeah, like come on, man.
I actually argue this quite a bit that Snapchat is one of the best platforms to be able to speak to anybody on.
Yeah, because their fucking boyfriend's not finding out about it.
Are you done yet, or you?
No, like I actually don't see the point in Snapchat.
Okay.
It's unless like if I'm gonna use it, I'm using it for what I use my close friends for.
Yes.
In that environment, right?
Yep.
But then anyone that's in the 21st century probably do have Instagram and probably...
I'm not posting close friends. I don't have close friends, like links to people on Instagram, simply because I've got Snapchat, because like what I am sending to people on Snapchat,
That's an X.
there's like, you have so many fucking X's, it's ridiculous.
I do.
They are endless. So let me finish. The Snapchat platform I find a lot better because if you want to be able to say something to somebody, you can actually send them like a vlog. I love sending a vlog to somebody, whether it's actually one of my close mates. We've got the boys have a Snapchat group on there. Way better than a messenger chat, because like you actually get what people are up to at like a real feedback. It's fucking good. Stop giving me the side eye. And like if you actually want to chat to somebody,
Can I have your feedback on this? Are you on my wavelength? Like,
Yeah, I'm not a Snapchat guy.
I just don't. Personally, like,
do you ever vlog somebody anything though?
if I want to vlog someone, guaranteed they're probably going to be either I had recently something that happened to me. I'm not going into it, like, so don't even ask. For particular reasons, but we can talk after this to explain why. And I had a situation and I recorded it on my close friends, did a whole fucking vlog, and there was like 4 videos. And granted, it is a bit annoying that it has separate videos versus Snapchat that doesn't, from my memory when I used it in 2012. But essentially, it's also one long video, right? On Snapchat. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But then 4 videos on Instagram, you can still watch the 4 videos. What difference does it make?
The big thing is, especially if you're sending something private, yet getting real feedback to whether it's been screenshotted, recorded, or anything like that.
But also, then don't send fucking risky shit.
It's not risky shit. Like, you're just talking, having a normal conversation. Like, in a normal messenger chat, are you sending... You send voice messages.
I do.
Yeah.
Correct,
So what's the difference between sending a voice message and a vlog?
Well, there's no difference. And
There's a massive difference. You're seeing what somebody is thinking, like how they're feeling, because you got face value to it straight away. And there's
Yeah, I
and
guess.
hang on, and when you're trying in the first stages of speaking to somebody, having face value.
Well, I just FaceTime people.
Okay.
I'm a FaceTimer.
Yeah.
Like,
Not everybody's a FaceTimer though.
I know, but then that's.
And then you can then like if you're sending a vlog to somebody, they can pick it up like 2 hours later and then be able to reply to it. I'm a massive advocate for it, like just
Okay.
because of that method. Like
How old are you?
32.
And you're still using Snapchat. Okay. Oh, what's that anymore?
Are you still single?
I am.
Have
Is
you
that out of choice?
Have
Yes.
Have you tried using Snapchat?
What? And you're telling me that I'm going to find my love of my life on Snapchat?
It's possible.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Like, no, I would never.
I'm not saying that this is a
like-
place where you're actively going to be able to find someone. I'm just saying it's actually not
Well, no,
a
because-
shit way of communicating to somebody, especially if you don't know them. And then even if you do, it's like a fucking live update of what someone's going through on their life. Like, especially if you like
but
somebody,
also-
it's just like a
but
photo
also,
here or
like-
there.
No one needs to know what everyone's doing 24/7.
No, they don't. But if you like are interested in somebody, it's actually not that bad to be able to get a photo update of what someone's doing, or
But then also, like, do people actually care that much?
if you like somebody, you are genuinely interested in what they're doing.
Yeah, but then you should be having a conversation with that person. As
It's
opposed-
coming with it. It's not just a photo. It might be a line, or we're doing this, or this is happening. Especially if if you can't have the space to have a full fucking
Okay.
paragraph in
Can I-
conversation.
Can I just come back to this, right?
Yeah, of
Can we
course.
ask a question? So, how are you obtaining their Snapchat? Because either it's via contact number, if I believe correctly, or username.
I didn't understand a word that you fucking said, but
I said, how are you obtaining
yeah,
their
okay.
Snapchat?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's either by phone number from memory again, or username.
Well, whether you're, I don't know, whether mostly via Instagram, I would probably go
Okay,
Snapchat
so if you've
before
got,
phone
if you've got
number.
them on Instagram, why are you not communicating via Instagram and just sending them a video and send it directly to them?
It's,
Or put it on your close friends and add them on it. Like, it's by the by, it's the same, right?
I would argue that the
Gosh,
more
really?
platforms that you had on somebody on something is just a different angle of communication. For example, if we were speaking on Messenger, or not Messenger, on
we?
Instagram, just say if we were,
Yeah.
and then I asked for your Snapchat,
I'd be like, look,
I know that what you would say, Soph. We know what you would say, Soph. You'd be like, I'm not 12 years old. I'm not chatting on
Somebody that actually
Snapchat.
said to me, have you got Snapchat? I went, no, because I'm actually 29 years of age and I've grown up a lot since then, but we can communicate like normal people do, via text or via WhatsApp.
WhatsApp's not bad, but it's not. It's very not an Australian
Yeah,
thing. So everybody has their personal preferences, and I understand the sentiment that you don't like Snapchat, and I think that it got really bad rap from the beginning, where pretty much it was used to be sneaky or hide from a partner or send nudes or something like that. It's simply like, from my experience, that does not happen anymore. Not to say that it doesn't happen at all, but from my experience, it just doesn't happen in that way. And it's just more of a vlogging sort of way, and it's really, really easy to use. And that's why it's used.
I'm really sorry to break it to you, Brandon. You're not going to have me convinced on this matter. And I will never communicate with you via a form of Snapchat. So I think we just end this one here and we accept that I'm correct, as Ben, you have agreed. And we move on from it.
All right. So since we're talking about how we've been talking, we might as well.
We've been talking.
We've been talking.
We've exchanged 5 messages for sure. Yeah. And it was primarily of me coming here tonight. For sure. Let's go.
No, I don't mean like we've been talking at the end of like we're fucking dating or anything like that. Because
Okay.
to be fair, we tried that, didn't work.
Yeah.
As I take a drink for the drink. So we knew each other
I
because
just don't want to open that kind of fun.
we're fucking opening. It's too late.
Okay, go.
So
I mean,
we're-
I did nothing wrong with my part, so yeah, okay. Go on, tell everything.
So we actually get along pretty well, you and I. I believe we get along pretty well, but it's completely different to like it's a non-sexual thing. I
think we get on really well as friends.
Yeah.
I think we've got similar interests. I think
Well, we do. Like we work the same job.
yeah. I think I'm probably a little bit funnier, but that's just my personal.
I actually don't think I'm that funny. Like I wouldn't say
Well,
I'm
that's
that
why I
funny.
said that I'm funnier.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that you're a little bit funnier. Like it's not
No,
bad
but
to
I
be
had to be
funny.
humble about it, right?
No.
No, I think we do get on really well, and when we went on our date, we had a really nice time. But I just don't know if I could see anything coming from it.
It would have to be something to do with the constant reminder of how immature I am constantly throughout my
I never said-
Instagrams. I actually had to go back and like have a look at previous conversations.
No. Go on, I can't wait for this. I don't even remember our conversations. So please,
Yeah, bro, I had to go through and just try and find something, and the constant reminder of I would post something, and you'd be like, so immature. So the immature jokes started flowing through anything that we posted for a while.
I think it was because you were like fucking. No, that's
So
right.
it started.
No,
It started
I know
off with
what
a Q&A.
I know it started off because you started fucking posting Q&As the day that we were going to go on a date, right?
On another one.
No, the first date that we ever went on, you started posting Q&As and recording yourself and that fucking
Oh, I
moment.
did.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And
It was pouring rain
like,
that day.
and I was like, oh my God, no one gives a shit, mate. Like, I get it, but no one gives a shit, right?
God forbid man tries to start a podcast.
Yeah, I know. But also, like, fucking put it on your close friends. Like, see if you get
No,
traction.
that's you need brand.
But also get
The randoms are the best part.
your traction from, like, yeah, I get that, but then put some random people on your close friends to see if you get any traction from them.
Why? What's the reason behind that?
Because if that's what you're looking for, traction, you put people on it. I wouldn't put shit on my Instagram that I was like, am I doing this for, like, what am I doing this for? Am I doing this to get a bit of attention? Am I doing this for the bounce? Like, am I doing this because I'm bored? Like, I would never put random shit on my, like, but I'm very much an overthinker, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm an underthinker.
you'll
I
do,
think that could be.
you'll, Yeah,
I
whereas
couldn't be more
I-
clear that I don't think about things before I do them.
I will post and then be like, watch, like, see who I've seen it, and then be like, oh my God, like, you look like a fucking idiot, so I have to remove it.
Are you anxious
Yeah.
by nature?
Not anxious.
How has the overthinking sort of come about then?
I pull things apart. So I've done it in previous relationships, which is probably the reason why I'm not in relationships. I tend to just overthink situations. Like, I overanalyze a lot of things. I'm probably
In a relationship, what are you overthinking? Like, what are you overanalyzing?
I don't know, like, if they've viewed the story, I'm like, what are they thinking? Like, have they looked at that with...
Are we talking a situationship or like a relationship?
I've been in relationships, like, ages ago, but, like... And then I've been in situationships, and then I've also been, like, seeing someone that's not officially relationships, but not situationships. Like, seeing that person and that person, like, predominantly. And,
Yeah.
like, agreed that we're not seeing anyone else, but then... It's not.
You're posting a story and you're having serious thoughts about what they're
But
thinking.
also,
in reply
like,
to
if
your
I
story.
send a text and they don't reply to me, like, instead of me thinking, oh, they could be at work, or, oh, they could be busy, I'm like, well, they're not fucking replying to me. Like, what the fuck are they doing? Are they even interested? Like, are they wanting to actually, like, I just overthink a lot, like,
Okay.
and
Can I
I've-
ask? Can I ask a specific around this? If you posted something and you're waiting on, like, are you talking about a paragraph that you're waiting on a reply to, or
yeah,
yeah,
so if I send, let's assume I send a message via Instagram, via text message, via WhatsApp, whatever the platform I send a message via, and I know that they've seen that message but chosen not to reply, I'm not gone, oh, they could be busy at work and will reply later. I've gone, why are they not replying to me? Is it something that I've said? And then I will, like, pull that message apart. Like,
the message that you've sent.
the message that I've sent. Okay, so what could be stipulated from that? How could that be read? Like, why? What am I thinking? Like, and then what I'll do is copy my message, put it into ChatGPT, and go, oh, help me overanalyze this message and tell me if someone was overanalyzing that, what they could think from that. And then I'm like,
how often do you
okay.
realize that there's nothing to be worried about?
Quite often.
Okay.
But
you,
like,
you obviously still have situations that have come out from these overanalyzed messages, and you're like, hang on, they were thinking that validate your train of thought.
yeah, I think
Can you give me a situation where you've been validated through your overanalyzing of a situation?
no.
You can't think of anything?
The only situations where I'm like, oh, that person's a little bit off with me, they probably don't want anything from me. They're probably actually not wanting to pursue that any further. And then them going, oh yeah, like, Soph, I really like you, but you're a really nice person, you know, you're really funny, we get on really well, but I just don't know.
That's pretty primary though. Like,
Yeah, but like, I
that's,
think
that's
I actually,
normal anxiety in a situation where if you've just started seeing somebody or you've been on 1 or 2 dates with them.
I actually think I know where my
I don't blame
problems
you for that.
I
That's
actually
normal.
think I know where my problems stem from. And my mum and dad split when I was really young. And I've had counselling, like, I've had the shit that I've needed to get through that. But I've also realised that actually a lot of those overthinking situations stimulate from that to a degree. Because I thought for many years, if my dad can leave me, he never left me as such, and I realised that as I got older. But from my perspective, when I was young, it was like, okay, if my dad can leave me at whatever age, anyone can leave.
Okay.
So then I really struggled to sort of understand that in the terms of, okay, well, nothing's guaranteed in life. So then that's when I'd start picking situations apart and be like, okay, well, you know, I've got trauma and how you choose to deal with trauma is very much on that person. I've dealt with it well enough that I don't bring it into relationships, but I also do overthink and overanalyze and try not to bring that into future relationships. But it's also really hard to when you're naturally an overthinker. So, okay.
As a really confident person,
Yeah.
how do you feel like you balance that out though? When you think that
I think it's a guard.
it's a guard,
Yeah, completely.
people often would have to be able to bring that down.
You have to, yeah, like, if you ask any of my close work friends who I used to work with when I was like 18, 19, they'd also say, like, Sophie, you have this big fucking wall up. Like, it's actually really hard to get in. Like, it takes me a lot to open up to my friends. It takes, like, I've got to know that person and know that me and that person, like, will get on well and we'll be friends for a long time before I will open up any kind of worms.
Right. You don't seem like someone that's really closed off though. So when you talk about something that you have to open up about, on what deeper level is something that is quite sentimental to you or meaningful that you are opening up about? Because there's definitely people out there that feel exactly the same way as you,
Yeah.
that aren't going to be as confident as you.
Yeah.
Like, you are confident in the way that you carry yourself, but what do you feel like that
But
you're
I also
not
think
getting out to
you have to be confident because otherwise you're not going to get anywhere in life. If you're stuck in a shell, you have to come up as confident in an interview. You have to come confident across to a person because otherwise they'll walk over you. You have to come across as confident to friends because otherwise if you're in your shell, they might not want to be friends with you. Like, confidence is key. And people say that, but people don't realise how much that statement actually means.
Yeah.
And I think over time I've realised that more and more. And that's the only reason why I'm confident. Like, everyone would compare me with my brother would be in a shell, and I'd be very overly confident, very overly talkative. But yeah, it's all a guard, but nobody realises that. Everyone thinks, oh my God, Sophie, like, so friendly, will talk to anyone. Like, you can bring her to any setting and she'll come across like she's friends with everyone and she's known them forever. But that is, like, who I actually decompose my life with and open up about everything that's happened in my life. Those two people are very different people. I've got acquaintances in a lot of them, and then I've got very, very close friends that I can count on a hand. And it would take a lot for me to open up to someone like Holly. And funny you say this actually. Let's open this can of worms.
Hang on
I
a
had a
sec, I'm going to take off my shoes, but
Oh, okay. Making yourself at home, are you?
That's staying in.
I had a friend over from Sydney this weekend. She's originally from Leeds, where I'm from, obviously, and we never knew each other back home.
okay.
But we had very similar social circles, and within 10 minutes of actually seeing, like, we've gone out in Sydney together, we've hung out together, but I'd never say that we were close as two girls. And then she came to my house, she stayed with me, and we actually realised that we're very similar people. And within probably an hour, I opened up to her about everything, just because I realised, like, she was going to be a girl that I probably would have in my friendship group, and be a girl that I probably could trust my everything with. And I'm very good at, like, reading people, and I think it's just because I have been stung by certain people in my past, so I read people pretty well now. And that's hard, and that's also a tricky situation, I guess, because I think you cut off friendships that you don't want to be in, or you want to be friends with them, but you know that they'll cut you out later on in life.
That's a tough one, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think that, like, personally, that I've been in too many friendships that I thought that they were not everlasting. I always thought that if I look at a friend, I always, especially if I make friends with somebody, I'm always having that belief that as long as I'm putting the effort, that there will be a friendship there.
Yeah, but that's not always the case.
That's not, yeah, you're right. It's not always the case.
Because
So maybe that's like that's fool's.
I've put in
confidence,
effort with people, and then realised that actually, you know what? I'm not getting the same effort back, so why do I want to be in a friendship that's half-assed?
Yeah, that 100%. That's true. If you're putting in all the effort,
Yeah.
it's like not a conversation.
It's not a friendship.
It's not a friendship.
It's
that you
not
wanna
a
be in.
friendship. It's
one-way street.
one-sided. Yeah.
Do you ever feel like that there is people in your life that are reaching out and you're like, fuck, I've got to make time for that, but I can't really be asked? Yes. So do you feel
more
like
so
that you
because
are
I've
that friend on the other side?
More so because I've moved here.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of, and it is hard to make friendships. I get that, but I'm lucky enough that the friendships that I've made, I know that those are the friends that I am going to be close with for a long period of time. Those are probably the people that I'd invite to my wedding, for example, if I was ever to get married. And I don't want friendships that are like, oh, I speak to you once a month, right? And people make, and this is not me being up my own backside, but like people do make a lot of effort with me, and I do realise it. But I'm a bit like, oh, like, yeah, let's do something. And then I won't follow it up. And guaranteed if I'm not following you up, chances are it's because either I've had too much on, one, or two, I'm just not asked. And I know that's really shit from my perspective, because I'd love to have...
It's a common fucking trait, though. Like, if you can't be bothered doing something, yeah, we'll make plans.
But like,
then,
I also,
they don't follow it up. Like,
but I also like, I'm like, I don't want to go out for dinner and drinks every night. Like, I don't have that money to be dropping on dinner and drinks every night to go out with 20 other people. If I can ring you up and have a conversation, or we can go for a walk and we can be in our hoodies and know if what's given, and we don't have to post it all over Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Like, that actually means more to me.
That's a good friendship.
Yeah. Or like, can I ring you up in the event of something happening and know that you're going to answer your phone tomorrow if I have a problem? Am I able to ring the phone and cry about a shit day that I've had at work? And that you're going to come over and bring a bottle of wine and we're just going to chat about that shit day and have a laugh about
If you
it?
called me and you said those things, yeah, I reckon I would.
Yeah, no, like, I know you would, because that's the type of person you are, okay? But then what I'm saying is I've got a lot of friendships that they like the lifestyle that I live, and people are like, oh, you live a really glamorous lifestyle, but people don't know the shit that goes on behind the closed doors. And I think that's my biggest problem. Instagram, that's why I love and hate Instagram. Instagram, I hate because everyone looks like they're living a happy lifestyle and it's great and it's all hunky-dory, but no one knows what goes on behind closed doors. And there's been so many times that I've wanted to delete my Instagram for obvious reasons and be like, you know what? It doesn't fulfill me anymore. But then I'm also like, okay, so if I do that, who's actually going to be my friend? And that scares me. And I know that's really like narrow-minded, but yeah, that does scare me.
You said something before in regards to the personality that you've had to like sort of take on.
I was thinking who wouldn't want to be a friend, but then I was like, no, Sophie, shut up.
So if you don't,
See, their confidence comes back out.
if you don't have Instagram, where are you going to message me? You don't have Snapchat. You don't have Snapchat. I don't have you on WhatsApp. Like,
No, I think my problem is I've got a big defense mechanism. So as soon as I like open up and then I'm like, okay, retract, let's make this a funny joke. And I think a lot of people do that.
it's pretty normal.
I think people shit themselves and think, oh, I've said too much. Okay, let's make a joke out of this awkward situation.
So you did say something before about how you had to like almost morph your personality because on one hand, you feel like you're quite an introvert and you like to sort of keep to yourself.
Yeah.
But you feel like you have to be confident and you have to portray this person that maybe sometimes that you don't feel like you are. So you have, correct me if I'm wrong, you would almost have like...
Two personalities. I'm practically the TV show Split, the film. Practically Patricia 1 week.
Do you feel like that you have like imposter syndrome sometimes with a really confident personality that you portray?
I wouldn't go as far as to say imposter syndrome, but I would say like I can be very much two people.
Yeah.
Like,
which one do you feel more comfortable being?
Just because of how long I've done it, the confident one.
So is that more you then than anything else?
I think if you get to know me as a person, you will realize that if I actually trust you and confide in you 100%, you will get the true me.
What's the true you?
The one that can be vulnerable and the one that can be, not gives a fuck and walks around without any makeup on and no fucks given.
How long does somebody have to know you for before they get rid of the makeup treatment?
I don't know, like, I will take my makeup around someone. Like, it doesn't really bother me that much, but I won't go out without makeup on. Yeah. Or, like, it's very rare that I will.
So if you've been seeing someone for a little bit, obviously the makeup comes off.
On a
regular basis.
Okay, give you context. If someone came back to my house after a night out or after a day and we ended up going like back to my place or back to theirs and I needed to take makeup off, I'm taking my makeup off, right?
Yeah.
I don't care that much. But also it's pitch black, right? Yeah. Also, that being said, if you expect me to sit on the sofa with you with no makeup on, in comfies and not give a fuck and eat whatever's fun and not really think too much of it, it's going to take a while to get that version of me.
Okay.
I think people that I've dated in the past, I think when you meet me and you date me, I am very confident, very like that person. But I think that actually fucks me when it comes to relationships because when I am with somebody and they see the true version of me, they're like, oh my God, that's you're this great person. But those two people are very different.
Which one are you saying is a great person?
The great person is the one that's the genuine, like, completely me.
And that's not the confident person.
That's not the confident person.
So you
but the confident person.
Yeah. Okay. So confidence obviously being a big piece of yourself and what you see in somebody else. Mm-hmm. Laying out big lines of your personality or the way that you are or your person inside obviously takes a lot of confidence to be able to do that or a lot of trust in somebody.
Yeah.
As we've already established here, we have been on a date, it didn't work out, and we are friends and we like to chat shit because we've got a fair bit in common. Am I a serial dater? Do I come across as a serial dater?
Don't know.
What constitutes a serial dater?
Dating 3 times a week? 2 times a week?
Yeah, okay, that's a lot.
That's an insane amount.
Yeah, that is an insane amount. No.
Okay, so how often would you say that you date a week?
It's been a little bit since I've been on a date, to be fair. To be honest, it's been a while.
What was the last date that you went on?
would have just been out for dinner locally, like just hanging out.
That's me just talking to us like
Yeah.
right here, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Was it what? Yeah, it was a little bit ago, but yeah, it's just I don't know. Do I think that
did
a
it
lot
go
of
well?
things- Yeah, it went okay.
As well as our date or better?
Our date was so long ago. Like I remember sort of.
But
I remember
you're
what
in
we
my
did.
DMs every week.
I'm in your DMs every week. I reckon I was in your DMs for a little bit, and then I was just like, I'm not. I think like especially if you go on a date, there's a period of time where as a male you try, and then once it goes nowhere, you
Yeah.
just don't bother. And I think that what ended up happening with you and I for a little bit, I would throw stuff out, you wouldn't throw it back. I'd be like, I don't really give a fuck if she doesn't reply. Like I just leave it, and then you would say something, and then I'd say something smart ass back. And then that pretty much what our relationship turned into was just a few smart ass
It
comments.
was just funny, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like we just ended up like bouncing off each other and just being good friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. But
Moving on.
as far as this, like, no, I wouldn't say I'm a serial dater at all. Dater at all. There would have been like a bit of a stage last year
Question.
where I went through a bit of a hoe stage, but like I was single for the first time in 10 years. So that's,
Question then. How many dates would you say you go on with somebody before it's considered serious?
yeah, it's a good question.
Thank you. I thought about it well and truly hard.
You didn't.
I know.
But between something being serious, I think a serious situation comes down to like a conversation more than anything.
So
It
it's
doesn't
not
matter
how,
how many
so
dates-
it's not how long you've known the person?
It comes down to the conversations that you've had with the person.
Okay.
If everybody stays silent and doesn't say anything about like what's happening between you two, you could go 10 dates and still both be seeing other people. Like if
Okay.
nobody says anything, like to me,
I mean, look, I get it because I was seeing someone back in England during lockdown and we cut off seeing other people pretty quick.
yeah.
And that was just because like we realised that we were very similar in people and yeah.
I just believe that it's conversation based. If you're seeing somebody every other night,
But also like you have to be attracted to that person. You have to want to make effort with that person.
Yeah.
And like, do you know what? The funny thing is, I say that, but like so this guy that I'm referring to, he messaged me and I just didn't reply to him for 2 weeks. Right? And it
That's
wasn't a
not
case
good. That's
no,
bad.
but it wasn't a case that I wasn't interested. I just one day forgot to reply and then just hadn't replied and thought that he wasn't making effort with me, so I took a back step. Right? And didn't actually
open the messages to have
I didn't actually overanalyze any text message
Yeah.
whatsoever. He then ended up actually going on and posting a picture of his dog, and I was like, because he'd asked like his housemate how to get me back, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And he ended up posting a picture of the dog. I ended up replying to the dog picture, and then he was like, "Well, we can go for a dog walk," and I was like, "Yeah, done."
Being active on social media is fucking important.
That's what I mean.
So important. Because if someone
And that's
doesn't
why I'm scared to come off it.
Yeah, well, no, it actually is really true that if you're out there and you're putting yourself out there, by posting stories is the easiest thing to link into somebody to start a conversation.
Yeah.
If you've seen somebody at a coffee shop and they follow
my
you,
God, I go there. How come I've never seen you?
or even if someone's seen you at the coffee shop
Yeah.
and they follow you and it's hard to start the conversation, you post a story, someone replies.
Yeah.
And it's a conversation starter.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're a total tart if you're posting heaps of stories, but it is definitely like an active social media allows a platform for people to speak to you actively without like a cold
Yeah,
pace.
completely. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
People don't understand.
It's communication. I haven't been the best communicator over time, but it's probably more that my communication skills, they're not. It's having hard conversations. I think I really struggle with.
Okay. What hard conversations would you consider hard?
Uh,
Come
reasons that not like why you don't want to see somebody anymore.
on. Okay.
That's a hard
So-
conversation. If things are going well, but you know that something's not quite there,
Okay.
it's a hard conversation to have with somebody. Like, what? How do you come up with
I can tell you.
what? Like, I'm just not feeling it. Why aren't you feeling it?
There's just something that's not right.
What is it? What can I do better?
It's not a case that there's something that you can do better.
It's
a
not you.
case-
It's me.
No, it's not me. I know
It's
not
me.
No, I know it's you.
So
Right.
what is it then?
But I'm saying that from my perspective.
You're protecting someone's feelings by saying it that way when you obviously know.
No, because you
what it
don't.
is
You
that's
don't know
doing
what
it.
it is. You don't know what it is sometimes. Okay.
Really?
So like when we went on a date, I couldn't pinpoint and go, okay, it's this thing.
You thought I was a serial dater, that's why.
No, I didn't. I didn't give a fuck if you're a serial dater because you're on a date with me, and I don't care what other people are doing.
Okay.
Because if you're on a date with me and you like me as a person, you'll continue to date me, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I couldn't
100%.
give a shit about the other people,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
I've told you there's two people with me. There's the confident one and there's the one that's very insecure. The confident one comes out when it comes on dates, right? And that person, I don't care who else you're dating, because if you actually liked me as a person, those people become irrelevant. Granted, correct?
I think that the best version of you is you and your comfies on the couch.
Yeah, but I'm not in my confidence on the
I
couch,
like
so.
I understand that, but like I think that would be your best version of you.
Probably would be, but it takes a lot to get to that person,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. 100%.
Like, I also was actually chatting to someone recently. We'd gone to a friend's birthday. We ended up sitting on a balcony and just chatting about all things relationship problems.
If there isn't a better like way of connecting with somebody, that's the best.
Yeah, so we
And
ended
it's
up...
like that instant almost like serotonin boost in the head. You're like, this person is fucking unreal.
Yeah.
They get me.
So we were sat on a balcony just chatting about everything, listening to like some of the music, working out like what music tastes we had, which were similar, and all that kind of stuff. And then we ended up like having a nice little evening together. And then they were like, yeah, don't want to see you again. That's where the kick in the teeth is.
Can I ask you a personal question? Did you sleep with them?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, okay. That hurts. That hurts.
Well, no, it doesn't. No, do you know what?
I think
It actually doesn't hurt. Do you know what hurts me more? Misleading. Okay. So I actually don't care if you slept with me on a first date or slept with me after a night out or whatever. Because I'm like, you know what? We all get drunk. We all do stupid shit. That's okay. Okay. What I don't condone is the excuses that you give me after that. Okay. So the excuses for that person was, I actually, well, it might have not been an excuse, it might have been genuine, to be fair, and it probably was.
excuse or not, it's still like a.
But
reason
it was
to like
just the
something.
case that I've actually ended up dating somebody and that I'm actually really liking where it's going. And I was like, okay, well, it would have been nice to know that prior, but also, if you were dating that person and you were actually getting along with them as much as you're making out, you wouldn't have been tempted to come back home with me. Right? So actually, that's bullshit. That's a cop-out.
Is that a male and female thing?
What do you mean?
Well, I think that males are a lot more susceptible to be able to do bullshit things like that.
Well, I fucking called him out on it.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm sorry, I can't condone that behaviour.
Yeah.
How would the girl feel if she knew that you were coming home with me, let's say?
Not good.
Not good. Great. Yeah, correct. If I was... And I also don't want to be with a person that is going to be the person that sleeps with someone else and then go, actually, I regret this decision. Well, maybe you should have thought about that before you had your big goggles on.
Do you think that in that situation that, and I'm asking a female brain this,
Cool.
do you think that it can take somebody to sleep with somebody else to realise that, fuck, I made a mistake here, I actually do want to be with that person?
It's drunken sex. Come on.
I'm asking you a question. Like, I'm not asking whether it's drunken sex or not. Can you sleep with somebody else, especially in the early beginnings of a relationship, or whether you've been seeing somebody?
Okay.
This person that he's seeing, not you, the other person, can they make a mistake to then realize what they wanted?
So what you're saying to me, for example, this guy goes on a night out, sleeps with me, he's been on 2 dates with this girl, not slept with her, for example.
Or
I don't know if he has, but I'm just...
I would say that if he said that he's interested in her, he's probably slept with her more than a few times. He wouldn't have not slept with her.
But then why
I
did
said
he
that
get...
to you.
But then why did he get tempted to sleep with someone else? Obviously, the sex wasn't that great if he was wanting to sleep with someone else. That's all I'll say.
I think it's just situational. I think that somebody, the old saying of you don't know what you got until it's gone, and the realization that something that
Yeah, but
you
then,
could possibly
but then
lose.
but then also, like, I'm sorry, that's bullshit. Right, I get there's drunken sex. I get that. I've had drunken sex. And have I regretted some drunken situations that I've been in? Yes, I have. And I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, yeah, that was a great idea. No, it fucking wasn't, right? But also, like, you work out pretty quickly. If I'm, right, for example, if I was, let's say, me and you were seeing each other, okay? And then I went to go sleep with someone else, right? Because I wanted to, I was like, yeah, babe. And went to go sleep with someone else. I'm not interested in you. That's the reality of it. Because I shouldn't have the temptation to sleep with someone else. Fact. I don't care how anyone sees that. I shouldn't have, if I'm interested in someone, I should just be interested in that person.
Is that a personal, like, is that your thoughts personally, or do you think that's a wider thing?
I wouldn't like to think, like, if you ask my friends wouldn't like to think that if you went on a date with someone and you were like, oh yeah, like, this could go somewhere, why would you sleep with someone else? Why would you potentially ruin that for the sake of a one night stand? If that person was genuinely interested in you, they'd want to take you out on a date, not just sleep with you on a night out. You know?
Yeah, people do stupid things.
Yeah, but that's primarily the point, right? Because when you're drunk or when you've had a few drinks, we all do stupid shit. We've all done it. Like, come on, like, somebody that says they're not doing stupid shit, miles off.
So if you're in that situation, you've been seeing somebody, and then you do something stupid. We're gonna just call it something stupid when you've been drunk. Do you automatically think the next day you're like, I obviously don't want to be with them?
No, because then
Would you ever go back to that situation, therefore being like, oh fuck, like
I could
oh, fuck,
I could
like-
open this so much, but I'm not going to.
no, I want you to, because
No, I don't, because if a person sees it, it's gonna be not a situation that I want them to see.
give your opinion on what you think then, because
Okay.
can you personally, because you obviously feel what's very strongly in the way that if you sleep with somebody else and you're seeing somebody, it means that you don't care about them. That's what you said before, but you're being contrary to the opinion that you can do stupid shit and you can still want to be with somebody.
It depends on the context, okay? So say-
both are allowable under certain
certain situations, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So say for example, we went on 4 dates, okay? And I then slept with someone else, for example. Would I potentially condone that? I don't know. It depends how well we got on and how well you felt about the situation. But would I be honest? Yeah, probably. Okay.
You would be honest. You tell
Yeah,
me.
I'd be like, look, I'll be honest with you. I need to be straight. Like, I'm very much an honest person. And I'd be like, look, this is a situation. I slept with someone else. I know that we've only been on 4 dates and I know it might not be that deep. However, if you don't want to see me again, I completely understand.
Very honest of you.
Right?
Very.
I'd then, let's say, another situation where I might have been with someone for X amount of months, weeks, years, whatever, right? We split up. I then slept with somebody and then went back to that person. Would I condone that? And I'd be like, well, yeah, completely I would. Because
Would you tell it?
that I've slept with X, Y, and Z? No, because we were separated for a set period of time, so it doesn't actually matter.
Okay.
We both went our separate ways.
That's a fair set of circumstances. I'll pay that.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't say I'm the same person.
In regard to what?
I just think that, like, you're right. It's very situational. The longer that you've been seeing somebody, the worse that it gets in that environment.
Yeah.
But unless you had,
look.
hang on, I spoke about this before. That unless you've had that conversation of exclusivity, then, especially if you've had
Yeah,
conversations.
but also, like, it's just nice to know where you stand with someone.
Yeah.
Right? So I would never want to sleep with someone else, and then go back to that person and carry on like nothing's happened. Because what happens if it was one of my friends that you slept with? Right? And I found out about it. That's fucking shit.
Yeah,
right?
that's pretty rough.
So I would rather
You could lose a friend and...
No, like, I've not been in that situation.
Oh,
just for
okay.
clarification. But what I'm saying is I would not like to be in that situation where I would rather than just being honest, us nip it in the bud, and then if my friend came and told me, I'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, I know about it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We've sorted it.
I'm just from the early dates point of view that if you slept with somebody else, it's not 100% necessary to be able to tell somebody very early on. The longer it gets, is the worse it gets.
Okay, so then let's say, okay, from 2 dates to 6 dates in, I'd be like, you know what? Actually, I'll be honest with you. Like in the early stages we were dating, I slept with a few other people other than you. And then I'd be like, okay, well, is it any of my friends? And then you'd be like, well, no. And I'd be like, okay, sweet, fine, I have no problems. But it's just understanding what trajectory you're on.
Yeah.
In terms of
Again, it's communication.
having
Yeah.
and like an understanding of each other.
Yeah.
That's right.
The earlier you get talking about important things in your situationship or your relationship, the better.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you ever, I mean, some of the things that I've raised tonight, do you ever just sit and think, actually, you know what, she has a fair point, as opposed to actually going, yeah, you agree with me?
I agree with most of the things that you say, yes.
Good to know. No, I'm just curious to know in regard to, like, is the stuff that you probably disagree with that you wouldn't have even really thought about, and then me giving you it from a different perspective and you going, oh, actually,
I'm a big person
what?
with perspective. I think that something that I really need from a partner, and I self-recognize this, is that I've got a bit of a list of somebody that helps me become the person that I want to be. And
But why should...
Perspective is a really big one, because I don't have really good perspective on a lot of things. I have views, and then hearing something from another point of view is really important for me to be able to run past someone and be like, hey, what do you think about the situation? Am I in the wrong, or am I right in this? And to be able to bounce that off somebody, like for me, is really important. Because if I had somebody with the same view on life as me, or with somebody that was agreeable, I would fucking hate it. Because that means that me as a person gets away with a lot of bullshit that I don't need to as a person. Like I need somebody that to sort of hold me up on things. I need someone that helps me be a better person. Like, because I'm always striving.
But also, like, why are you looking for that in someone else? Like, you should be able to be that person on your own.
You should be, but everybody has their deficiencies.
Yeah, I understand that too.
So I understand what my deficiency is. So therefore, I know what I would like from friends and a partner.
Yeah, but also, like, have you ever thought about just actually
trying to do that? Yes. Yeah. I actively try and think about like situations and things and people and the perspective of picking up a situation. There was a situation.
Give me examples.
There was a
please.
situation recently that something happened. I don't know how much I can reveal about this. There was something that happened to a friend and he didn't say anything to anybody, and it turned out that it was funny to everybody else, but perhaps he was quite embarrassed about it. And I brought it up in the boys chat and was just like, why didn't you fucking tell anybody about it? And like the boys are like, this is funny. Like, it's not embarrassing. It's funny. Like, you should have said something. And he was like, bro, don't appreciate this. I deleted it. And I was just like,
yeah, but
it's
also a bit too late.
How would I feel in the situation about posting it? And like, before I posted it, I'm like, I would have a laugh about it. And then I said to him, like, bro, I apologize. Like, I thought about it from my point of view. I thought it was funny. If you had posted that about me, I would have had a laugh about it. So there, I posted about you. You obviously didn't feel that way. I apologized and I moved on from it. But I had a conscious effort to be able to think about how I would feel about before.
Yeah, but
then someone felt contrary to it, and I apologized based on.
I don't know, because like from my perspective as a woman, I think sometimes you just need to be mindful of people's feelings, not necessarily think about it.
100%. You, of course, you have to be mindful.
So you don't go, oh yeah, you know what? Because I'm okay with this, they'll be okay with it. I would actually say, hey, I actually found this really funny. Let's tell the boys.
But trying to put yourself in somebody else's shoes?
But then they could be like, oh well, actually, no, I don't really want you to see that. And like, oh, right, it's a good laugh. You can make a little friendly joke between it, and then it'd be like, and then if you maybe opened him up a little bit more to it, and be like, oh yeah, all right then, yeah, I get like why you find it quite funny.
But this is what I'm saying. The perspective is what I struggle with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from.
So the perspective is what I struggle with.
Yeah.
The only way that I can really understand perspective is if I put myself in somebody else's shoes.
But then it's collateral damage.
So having somebody else to bounce something off and be like, hey,
like, come on, like, You can use ChatGPT for that.
Come on.
You can. Like, that's what AI is made for
So
nowadays.
if I come to you and I said,
Because my opinion is
am I wrong in this situation?
Opinion is
That
gonna be
is
different
good.
to someone else's.
But no, but that's good. That's what I'm saying is good, is that you want someone with a different opinion. Like I want
Okay,
someone with a different
okay.
opinion. Speaking of situations that you've been through, you've got some good dates, you've been some bad dates.
Been on some very good dates.
One English date from you, good or bad?
Fucking horrendous.
Actually, no, just bad.
Yeah.
And one bad Australian date.
Okay, I've got two, so that's perfect. So the English date that I went on, do you know what? Like, I thought he was a lovely guy when I first met him. Okay, so turns out we'd matched on a dating app. I didn't realise that we matched on a dating app, and apparently we'd exchanged a few messages, which wasn't to my knowledge. We then met in a place called Revs. If you've ever been to the UK, it's not the same Revs as it is on
Okay.
Michael Street.
Yeah.
Just for context, right? It's like
So you're in the UK. to
it's
this
like
day.
a
This is
Mexican
your UK
bar,
date.
like
Yep.
it's good vibes, whatever. He ends up chatting to me. I was like, okay, let's book a date. Let's just go on a date. Like, I prefer to meet someone in person than I
Yeah.
would on an app.
I think everybody does.
Yeah. So went on a date. He was like, oh, let me pick you up. I was like, I don't want to drive in. He was like, no, I'll pick you up. I was like, okay, cool. Picks me up. And then as soon as I get in the car, he goes on to tells me that he's got 9 points on his license. So in the UK, just for context, 9 points on a driver's license is like having 3 points left on your full.
Right.
Okay. So I was like, oh, what have you been done for? It was like drink driving, speeding, drugs behind the wheel, all that kind of stuff. I was like, this is filling me with so much confidence right now. It's like my perfect guy. And then we went out. We went to dinner. We went to a nice little Italian restaurant, which is like not too far from me. And when we walk in, he goes, "Is anyone going to take my coat around here or what?"
Oh.
That is a red flag for me.
That's bad.
I was like, so
bad.
I took his coat off him and I said, I'll hold it, I don't mind. I put it over my arm. He was like, no, someone needs to hold my coat. They get paid to do. And I was like, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. Actually, shut the fuck up. Like, you're 30 odd years of age. I was like 22, 23 maybe. I was quite young at the time. I was like, no, like, I can't condone this. So I just said, stop talking, just give me a coat. So I put the coat again over my arm. We get sat down at the table. He then said, so what are you going to have for a starter? And I was like, oh, I'll just have some garlic bread. He was like, I'm going to get olives, but that must be an age thing. And I was like, oh, so now we're being patronising and have no concern for the general public. Okay, cool.
It's just not kind.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, cool. And then he goes on to tell me, oh, so how many of my friends have you been on dates with? And I was like, I don't know, right? And he was like, oh, well, I heard one of them's already tried to pursue you. And I said, well, tried to, instigate that didn't get very far. And he was like, yeah, but you entertained it. I said, yeah, but I wasn't like, we're not in a relationship, so what difference does it make?
What's your other date with you?
And also, if you knew that, why are you coming on a date with me? Right? So he was like, oh, I heard one of my friends tried to pursue you. And I was like, yeah, they did. Cool. And he was like, so why did you go on a date with them? And I was like, because I liked them at the time and like, or like I instigate, like we had the conversation because we thought we were similar people, realised that we weren't, and then like moved on from it. And he was like, well, I don't want to be with someone that's dating my friends. And I was like, okay, well, you were well aware of this prior to coming on a date with me, yet you still continue to come on the date with me. And then we were sat down and then he was like, oh, so I've heard a lot about your friendship circle. So like I mentioned to you earlier, I was a shot girl. I was in that nightlife scene. And what he thought my friends were, he had the perception that my friends were the girls that did nights out with me and
Right.
not the friends that I've got at home that
Right.
don't go on that scene. And he was like, oh, I know a lot about your friends. Like, they sleep around quite a lot. Do you sleep around quite a lot?
This guy's fucking like painful to listen to.
Fuck with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't think I do. He was like, okay, so how many people do you sleep with? And I was like, why?
First day with him,
And
like,
I
how
was
long
like-
is he asking this?
Probably we'd probably been sat down having dinner, probably 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours in. And bearing in mind, we've got an older couple sat next to us, like my mum and granddad were talking. And they overhear that conversation of him going, so how many people have you sat with? And they look at me being like, are you okay? Like, why are you on a date with this man? And I was like, I don't really think that's an acceptable conversation. And he was like, what, are you embarrassed about it? And I was like, no, but I don't think I have to justify my actions to you, who I've known for 10 minutes. And he was like, sounds like you're a little bit ashamed of it.
Fucking hell.
And I went, no, what I'm ashamed of is being on a date with you right now.
Queen.
So then he went off to the bathroom and this older couple just looked at me and said, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. And then as we were leaving, so I was like, oh, let's just get the bill. He paid. I was like, I'm fucking not paying after you fucking grilled me like that.
That's fair.
And I will always pay my fair share. And he, as we were leaving out, he goes to me, oh, my ex-girlfriend and her parents are over there. I was like, oh, that's nice. He was like, yeah, they own Ferraris. They have really good money. They do really well for themselves. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I'm not in competition with them, but thank you. And he was like, yeah, I'm just telling you. I was like, but I don't care. Like, money does not, like, I think just because you've got money doesn't make you a nicer person, doesn't make you a better person, doesn't tell me anything about you as an individual.
I think it generally does the opposite.
Yeah.
I actually think, like, if you've got money, chances are you're probably going to be a prick, right? And there are a few that differentiate in that opinion, like, not not everyone who has money are a prick, right? But what really annoys me is like when somebody tries to compare somebody with someone else. Everyone's different. Everyone's got their own personalities. Why should you have to be like, oh yeah, by the way, my ex's parents were over there. They've got really loads of money. Cool. Fucking what to do.
I don't reckon there could be anything more awkward for him to have his ex-partner or their parents or something sitting in the same restaurant. If I had to walk into that situation, I would have been like, look, I probably like, is it okay if we leave? I know some people here, like all my ex's parents are here. Do you mind if we leave?
Yeah, but also, like, why are you trying to pick them up? Right? Like, are you trying to belittle me? Or is it a case that
He was just a
you
fucking
want,
Fruit Loop,
are
mate.
you wanting me to be jealous of them? Because I'm not a jealous person. So what are you trying to achieve from this?
Strange.
Yeah.
Very
And
strange.
then Aussie dates.
Better or worse?
Oh, I don't know, debatable. I'd say it's Aussie day. Went on a date, used to live in Queensland, so I was living in
You used
Brisbane.
to, yeah, okay.
Lived in Brisbane for 6 months. And when I went on this date with this Aussie, he picked me up and was like, let's go on a hike. And I was like, oh my God, perfect date. Like, I love walking, love running. I'm a very active girly. So I was like, yeah, perfect. We go on a hike, which is a 2-kilometer hike.
That's very short.
Yeah, it's not a hike, is it? It's something that I want to even take the dog around. Bearing in mind I don't have a dog, but, you know, for context.
It's a very short walk.
It's a very short walk. And then he was like, oh, let's just go to the pub. And I was like, all right, cool. So essentially it's just a piss up, but sure. So we go to the pub. We go to the pub.
Welcome to Soph's Nightmares.
Yeah. We have a few
Straight to the
drinks.
pub. No hike.
No, I love a hike.
Yeah, but you're in trainers and you have to go to the pub instead of going for the proper hike that you want to go on.
So we ended up going to the pub, have a few beers, whatever. And then it's like, oh, should we go back to my parents' house? And I was like, sure. He was like, they've got a boat, they've got a yacht. We could play the golf off the back of the boat. Like, he knew that I liked golf. And I was like, all right, like, it's not supposed to entice me, but sure. So we go to his parents' house, right? And he's like, oh, yeah, look how expensive their parents' house is. I was like, oh my God, Liz, it's an egg. Let's go on the boat. So we go on the boat. And he's like, oh, do you want to connect to the music? So I connect my iPhone to the music and we play Drake. He's like, oh, who's this artist? I've never heard of him. I was like,
Aussie
what?
guy.
Yeah, I was like, what?
How old was he?
Like 30 odd. And I was like, what, you've never heard of Drake? He was like, no, like, what type of music does he play? I was like, this. And he was like, oh yeah, I could get into him. I was like, okay.
That's bad. Benny,
So I
that's
was like,
bad.
Okay. I was like, okay. So then, anyway, he then goes on to tell me. So then we go back to, I don't know, go back to his parents' house or whatever. And he goes on to tell me, he's like, oh, I've got a friend's engagement or a friend's birthday or some shit. He was like, I really need to go. I was like, all right, cool. Right. Bearing in mind, he's been going on about how much he likes me and how much he wants to spend like the rest of the afternoon with me and all this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So he drops me off at the train station because I don't drive at this point because I'm living in
Okay.
Queensland.
Yeah.
Okay, for context.
Mm-hmm.
So he drops me off at the train station. I'm heading back to Morningside where I was living at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's down Gold Coast way,
Yeah.
Surface Power.
Yep.
And I'm heading the train back. I get a text saying I had a really good time, but I do miss you.
Already.
And I was like,
How
sorry?
touching. I feel so sorry for him.
I was like,
He misses you already,
sorry?
though.
I was like, I am being like, what? So I was like, oh, like thanks for a really fun time. It was, it was a good laugh. I'm sure you'll have fun at your friend's birthday or whatever. He then goes, oh, I wish you could have come. Making out that I was the person that said no, but one, you didn't invite me. Two, you were like, oh, you
Would
need
you
to
have
get
gone
off.
with him if he invited you?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'd already had enough. It was pretty horrendous.
Is there anything tougher or like more cringe when you know that you've been on a bad date? Someone goes, I really enjoyed the time that I had with you.
It
Like,
happens a lot to me.
can't wait to do it again.
Well, funny enough, he goes to me, oh, I can't wait to see you again. I just ghost that message. I was like, oh, like, how do I tell him this nicely? So I wait till like the next day and then I like choreograph a message and be like, look, I think you're a really genuine lovely person and I think he is a lovely person. I'm sure he'll be right the match for the right person, but not for me. And then he basically was like, you don't need to be bitter about it. And I was like, I'm not bitter about anything. He was like, is it because I didn't invite you to my friend's birthday? I was like, no. But I obviously wasn't going to be like, no, it's not because of that. It's because of X, Y, and Z. I was just like, no. I just don't think like we're on the similar
Yeah.
trajectory.
So there is something that we've been doing. Then people have been writing in with stories about relationships or scenarios that they've been through. So
Please ask me.
I want your just honest reaction. And this is one that's a little bit longer. So like it is a bit of a tale. She is a very funny person. And funnily enough, just another friend along the way.
Yeah.
A very, very old friend from like high school. So the story is actually called The Morning After Mess.
Okay.
And this is going back a few years. The morning after mess. I had recently had my heart broken after a long-term relationship and was feeling adventurous. I decided to take the advice that the best way to get over somebody is getting under somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I went out in Geelong with my best friend and told her the game plan. A few drinks in and I'd spotted my target in the smokers area. He was tall, handsome, kind smile. I went over and sparked a conversation. Before I knew, him and I were laughing and drinking and having the best night. He came back to my place and it was on. It was great sexual chemistry, good vibes all around. The next morning, I woke up and things were great. We were still all over each other, and even after we'd sobered up, there was still definitely a spark. I went to get a drink of water, and when I came back, he was sitting up in my bed against the headboard, but the mood was immediately off. Like, he went all weird all of a sudden, and I couldn't pick what had changed. I started hinting that my best friend was coming over soon to pick up her things, so he must have known that it was time to go, but he just sat there making small talk. Again, I kept hinting at him leaving, but nothing. He sat there awkwardly against the headboard. I eventually told him that I really needed to get ready, so I went into my ensuite to have a shower, and I was getting ready. So while I was in the shower, he quickly popped in his head, he said he had to go, and he gave me a kiss goodbye in the shower. I thought it was strange that he went from awkwardly staying here and then almost running out of my house all of a sudden. So when I finished getting ready, I thought I'd quickly straighten my bedroom up before my bestie arrived, and I pulled back the covers, to make the bed when I saw this. My white bed sheets had the biggest shit stain right all over them, sitting there leaning against the headboard as he'd been bare-assed. This is obviously why he didn't move for like an hour. He knew it, and he didn't want to get up while I was there. It was just horrific. But also, my best friend hyperventilated laughing when she arrived on the scene. And this was it for the one-nighters for me.
Hours. Tiring.
It's pretty fucking starring.
I don't think he's a bad guy for shitting the bed.
He's not a bad guy.
I don't think he's a bad guy for shitting the bed. I think, like you said, it's all about confidence. If he had of said, I have terrible, grave news, and then said, I have shit myself, I'm going to wash your sheets.
Also, I'm gonna fucking go.
I'm going to wash your sheets for you.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm so sorry.
No.
I have IBS and we had a big night.
But also, like,
I'm
why-
going to wash your sheets for you
Ben,
and
why-
buy you
Ben,
breakfast.
why can't I run to the toilet? Why can't I just be like, I need to go to the bathroom?
No, well, I'm thinking it may have been a... Yeah, but I don't know. Was it an accident? I guess we need more details. But
Unless you put a butt plug in it up his ass.
Come sit, Ben. Come sit. So we're expecting IBS in this situation.
Are we?
well, I got IBS. I've shit myself a couple of times.
Have you shit yourself in somebody else's bed?
No. I
Okay, so
it's been bad, but it's never been that bad.
I honestly think that he's been laying in the bed and she's ducked off and like she's gone to get a drink of water. He's like, oh, finally I can actually let off a fucking fart because he's been stocking them up.
Just hold it in.
But he
Why
can't though.
not?
And then he's like slip one out and then bang. And she's just like, oh,
Is-
fuck.
But is it not just me that, like, when you need to, like, unwrap, you go to the bathroom to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would, yeah.
No,
But accidents do happen.
Like, okay, so let's say, honest to God, he's just had a freak accident. Where to from there?
Does the confidence get you out of it at all? I mean, like, the confidence has been a big thing of our conversation for so long here.
absolutely not.
You don't, like,
If someone shat in my bed,
what are you doing in that situation if that's you? If you're the person...
Would you
that-
prefer he said something, or
I'd
would
be
you
like,
prefer he
"Can
just
you-"
leaves?
I'd be like, can you just take the bed sheets off, please? Because I don't want to touch your shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm...
Can
And
you
is
go
that, is
for
that
it?
game over for him? Like, he's never
Also,
coming back?
like, do you know, like, no disrespect. So, you know how there's, like, kids that have, like, not kids, but, like, people that have disabilities where they can't control their bowel system?
Yeah.
You've taken this fuck home and you
No,
don't think you can
I-
control his...
No, unless I'm wearing gloves and, like, I'm wearing, a mask, I am not touching someone else's shit.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I would be like, do you want me to drop you off at
The hospital.
at some place where you can get the help that you need? Right? Yes.
So if the border goes on, they're more of a bitch, I think, than you are.
I would be like, I'm sorry. Like, I get that everyone's struggles with certain things in life, but there's struggles and there's that, right?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just
let's-
don't know how you could get yourself into the
Let's-
situation of
let's
shitting yourself
assume-
in a woman's bed, or anyone else's bed for that matter.
No, but like I've been.
I don't think I've ever shit myself in my own bed.
Oh, I've
I've never shit the bed. Let me just preface that. Like,
I pissed the bed even as an adult like a few times.
yeah, I know a few friends that have. Yeah,
like-
yeah.
And it's only come on the back of being ridiculously drunk. And like,
even if any of us shit the bed here, we wouldn't talk about it.
I would.
Would you?
Fucking earth.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh no.
Why?
I'm very
You
confident.
know,
I think the stories of me shitting myself are hilarious.
They're pretty funny.
Yeah, they
I've
good.
been
Frank.
told-
I told him. I've told
I've
him.
been told that, like, if you're a runner, like a long distance runner,
Yeah.
it's pretty common that people
Yeah.
shit themselves on a run.
Two of my shitting myself stories.
Oh,
I
no.
reckon people
Are from
shitting
running.
themselves like is pretty funny.
I
And
think
the
it's
more-
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
pretty
glad,
funny.
I'm glad it's funny for all you guys. I could.
Thank you.
Oh, I haven't even shit myself before, but if I had, I would find it funny. It is a confidence thing because you putting this
Yeah.
some mystique around it and being like,
Well, it's somewhat like one of the most I guess, like innocent,
Taboo.
worst things you can do.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you can just take that off as a laugh, it's like, I think, hats off to you.
I do think that it's a really hard thing to laugh about shitting yourself in someone's bed that you've just been getting.
It's step too far.
Imagine just getting railed. Oh.
Getting absolutely railed.
Imagine just getting railed and then
It's like
going,
you had a pooey bum.
by the way, I've shot your bed.
I mean, how else do you do it? How else do you, like this story? How else do you?
Well, he hasn't been railed.
What's the no? But like, still, like, how? What do you do in that situation if you were the dude who's you've had your accident? Okay, we're past that. How he got to that point doesn't matter. He shit the bed.
Okay, so girl says that to me. It hasn't happened before, but I'm speaking hypothetical. Girl says that to me. I'm exactly what Soph said before. I'm saying maybe half a giggle, and I'm like, that's cool. Just strip the bed. We'll just put it straight in the washing machine.
No, I'd be like, straight to the bed.
Well, yeah, that's fair too. Those are there.
If you've got Kmart,
I threw my
but-
shitty jeans
but
at the bin when
In fact, even if
Did we record the shitty jeans story?
I don't think so.
even if the bed sheets were expensive, right? I'd be asking him for money back for my sheets because you shat on them, and I'm not washing your sheets to go in my washing machine.
I think
with all your shit.
But what would be the best case scenario for the dude to respond? Like, what would be the best case scenario?
There is none.
There is none. That's it. That's canon. You'll never see him again.
You've shut my bed.
Yeah.
Unless you've got diarrhea or you've got, I don't know, you've had a few
He's got pumping out a fucking log.
no, exactly.
It's obviously
It's got to be diarrhea. It's got to be an accident. That's the only way accidents happen.
But that's worse. Like, do you know when there's like a shit and it splats?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
what we're
absolutely
talking about.
worse. But it's
But that's also the one that washes out.
it is an
No,
accident.
no, but like also like
But would
you're not my dog. I don't need to train you. Like,
Leave some treats leading to the fucking toilet.
But would you prefer he does what this gentleman did and just pop his foot? I'm off. But would you prefer that he kisses you in the shower goodbye,
no,
and then you find the mystery pie in the bed,
no.
the clay Satan, or would you prefer him just own up?
I think probably.
I'd actually prefer not to shit in my sheets.
Yeah.
No, but isn't that we're talking about?
Yeah. Probably what the most ideal situation of what he could have done then is that you've done it. You know what he's done. She's gone to the shower. You strip the bed, and then you just put it in the washing machine, and you just straight up say you don't even have to say.
No,
that.
you just do a little white line and say, "Oh, I noticed there was some stains from our romping,
Yeah.
and I thought I'd wash his sheets
Yeah.
for you."
I think that's the go-to.
That's actually a really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
just-
fucking good.
Yeah.
I think
That's solid.
no. I this
Wish we
story
could say the same for that motherfucking shit.
This story actually wasn't posted to me anonymously, and it was sent through to me, and we had quite a laugh at it.
Yeah.
And I believe at the time that this person was staying at her parents' house. Like,
That's
she had an
worse. I
ensuite,
can't.
so
Absolutely can't.
the harder part
gets
of it
worse.
would have been like being able to find where the laundry is the morning after at somebody's parents' house. If it had just been her house,
No,
you would have been
yeah.
like, "Hey, I know where the laundry is. I'm just going to do this while they're in the shower."
Yeah.
I think that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hectic.
Hey, you don't really want to come out to the parents, having them orange juice. Yeah, I just spent the night with your daughter. Can I wash her sheets?
No, it's a bit weird. Let's just end that conversation there because let's be honest, right? If anyone ever did that with me, you'd never see me again. You'd never see me again.
Hard
Fact.
line.
Soph, we've been here for far too long.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been good. A lot of laughs. We've had
The ups and downs.
I've got a question.
Go.
Who is your favourite host? Not host. Who's your favourite person that you've had on the show so far? On the podcast?
I've had my best friend on here, so
Who's been the funniest? And you can say me.
My personal favourite. Well, actually, this is the first one that I've been on, so I'd have to say this one.
what do you mean it's the first one you've been on?
Like, I've been on camera.
There was literally a whole episode
Oh, there was,
with you on it.
my episodes.
My most enjoyable ones have been the last few. Yeah,
They are getting.
Mitch was really good. He was an open book. I would happily have Mitch back, but Jake, the pro wrestler Jake, he's golden. I can't wait to have my best mate George back on because a little bit more refined and I can follow the
OG
conversation.
episode,
Yeah.
when we didn't really know what we were doing.
We didn't know what we were doing, but we had a
Podcast
lot of laughs.
different name.
Yeah. So it was a little bit about everything, but like you're asking me like who's my favorite person I've had on, like it's my best mate.
Okay, who's been the most interesting person
Jake.
you've had on?
Jake is living experiences that I have great interest in.
Do you know what I think you should do? Is like a dating series of all the dates that you go on, and then ask them to come to the podcast after.
Oh,
That would be good. Yeah, that would
It'd be
be
a short
good.
series. We hugely appreciate your time.
Good, because I took an hour to get here.
worth.
It's an hour to get home, so I hope you enjoy the anxiety.
I'm gonna have my
of job.
GYGs next, so
Thanks for coming.
bye.